Hi, everybody. This is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. This is the Merchant's Tale Quick Take, the 10-minute breakdown of the tale, subtitled by Jimmy Marriage, Deception, and the Garden of Delusion. Let's begin, shall we? Welcome, everybody. And what if I told you that a wealthy old man marries a young bride to keep her locked in his private paradise, only to be literally blinded by her betrayal while the gods watched from above? Huh? Well, that's The Merchant's Tale. It's a dark, comic, richly ironic story of lust, delusion, and the elaborate lies that we tell ourselves when we want to love to obey the rules, when we want love to obey rules. Welcome to Reading with Jimmy's Quick Takes. This is where we distill literature's greatest works in 10-minute insights, so you can dive deeper and read the whole tale along with Jimmy. This is just a little 10-minute quick summary. So let's open the garden gate and go into one of the most satirical tales that were ever written about romance. Or was it romance? So what's the story? Well, the context, the merchant who's telling the story is not an idealist. In his prologue, he rants about his miserable marriage. He calls his wife a shrew. And he hates marriage, but he tells a tale of a marriage, and the way he tells it, it's his tale, reads like a bitter response to flowery speeches about love and fidelity. The setting is Lombardy, Italy, the home of luxury excess. The main characters, January is a 60-year-old guy who suddenly decides he better marry so he can secure an heir and fulfill his paradise on earth and wedded bliss. May, his teenage bride, young, beautiful, quietly resistant. She's not exactly thrilled about marrying a man her grandfather's age. And then there's Damien, a handsome young squire who works for January. He falls in love with May, and he schemes to be with her. And then there's Pluto and Prospinia. These are the gods, the king and queen of fairies, and they watch from the garden and they're ready to interfere. It's kind of like the gods watching over mankind, and they interfere with mankind if you know your Greek mythology, which you should read. So, what's the plot? Well, January chooses May. He's thrilled. She's, "Oh, okay." Soon, January goes blind, literally. That leaves May free to plot an affair with Damien. She arranges for him to sneak into the garden, which he keeps under lock and key, inside of a pear tree. With January clinging to her arm, May climbs the tree and has sex with Damien right above January's head, thinking he can't see because he's blind. But just then, Pluto restores the sight to January, and he sees them in the act. But then May gaslights him immediately, claiming that his eyes are deceiving him in their newly healed state. He believes her. What a plot! What a plot! So, what's the big deal about Chaucer? Well, this tale is kind of like a mock romance. Marriage is framed as a fantasy, love is reduced to property, women are expected to be passive. But in this tale, the script is flipped. Say that 5 times. The script is flipped. May be silent at first, but by the end, she outmaneuvers everybody. Smart cookie. The tale is also rich with biblical allusions. You got to know your Bible. That's how you read classical literature to get more out of it, right? The more you read, the better off you are. And classical literature is how other people lead their lives and how we should lead ours. But in this version, it's the man who's blind and the woman who decides when and what he sees. So, what are some of the themes? Delusion and self deception. Ah, Jimmy, I never delude myself. Well, good for you. But that's probably BS. We all delude ourselves a little bit. January believes marriage will make him young again, virile, blessed. He creates a fantasy and he refuses to see anything outside of it, even when it's happening in front of his eyes. Marriage is a transaction. There's no romance, just contracts, control, and ownership. A lot of that going around these days, huh? May is treated like property, but the tale suggests control is an illusion. If you read with Jimmy a lot on these classical pieces of literature, you're going to understand what I mean because we study control. What is control? Female agency and strategy may not speak much, but her actions speak louder than words. She finds freedom through cunning and boldness and not sentiment. But is she really free? That's another story to debate. Blindness, literal and metaphorical. January's physical blindness mirrors his spiritual one. He's blind. He can't see what's in front of his eyes. Even when his sight is restored, he chooses not to see, or he's duped into not seeing. And finally, power and performance. Everyone in the tale performs a role: the husband, the bride, the lover. But it's May who rewrites the script. She rewrites the script. Why does this tale matter today? Well, it's 600 years old and it still matters. You bet it matters. Love and control don't mix. January wants a wife who's beautiful, obedient, and always available, but he gets a person with his own mind. I'm going to ask you when we analyze this tale together to define marriage. You have to define marriage. This tells you about a definition of marriage, many definitions, but you have to do it. Delusion is comforting, isn't it? January's final decision to believe May, despite the obvious, reminds us how we all want our fantasies to be true. Oh, if only she loved me, right? You all want the fantasies to be true. If only the world were perfect. It's not. Never will be. Marriage is complex, you think? The tale asks, is marriage a bond of love? Is it a social tool, a prison, a game of strategy? Chaucer offers no easy answer. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you have to define it. You do. You do. Classical literature gives us clues, how people lead their lives, how they define it, but you are the one who has to define your word and what that word means, if you want to. And women still maneuver through male power. May doesn't rant and rave. She just acts. She survives. Very cunning. The tale reminds us that silence doesn't mean submission, does it? Stories still reshape reality. And it's amazing that he wrote this so long ago and that it's so true then as it's so true now. That's the beauty, ladies and gentlemen, of classical literature. It's really why we read on Jimmy's website. So, calling all readers. That's 10 minutes of The Merchant's Tale, but it's only 10 minutes. You should walk through that garden of illusions with me and read the whole tale and then read the analysis after the tale. This is just a 10-minute preview of what you'll find. It's on my website, readingwithjimmy.com. You can watch it on YouTube at Reading with Jimmy. That's my YouTube channel. And next, you can pick up any of the tales on the website, any of the stories on the website, any of the other Canterbury tales on the website. But I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. What truths do we choose not to see? And why are they so seductive? In other words, what truths do we choose not to see? What is the truth you don't want to see? I can't bear it, Jimmy. I can't. I don't want to see it. Shut up. Don't tell me. What is that truth you asking me not to tell you? What is it? Thanks for joining me on this quick take of The Merchant's Tale, and I'll see you on the next quick take. Read often. Before you go, whether you're on YouTube or on my website, the Canterbury Tales are all here for you to read with me. I'll read them with you. I'll help you enjoy them, help you interpret them. And there's so much to understand in these beautiful stories that Jimmy has a comprehensive analysis of each tale. Each tale. So you read the tale, then you'll read the analysis. And then you'll decide for yourself what the heck this has to offer you and how to lead your life better. Thanks for coming by. This is Jimmy. You're Reading with Jimmy. My email is jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Thanks for coming by. And remember, life is but a dream. No, I'm not going to break into song. Have a great day.